the Raptors, they're just going to be looking for revenge. Hello, everyone. Ciao, and welcome to the 8th episode of Raptors in 1. So today, we're going to be covering the game that just happened tonight, and that was Toronto Raptors taking on the Boston Celtics. Game 2 of the season. So without any further ado, let's get it. So, like I have mentioned in the previous episode, this was a revenge game. And boy, was it sweet. This revenge was sweet. And you know what? There was nothing cold about this revenge. It was hot. It was hot. To start the game off, I felt like some of the old shooting struggles that Toronto was facing in the first game, it seemed like it was coming back, and I was kind of like, oh man, this is gonna be another one of those games. It's like we've got this spell that we just can't put the ball in the net. It's like I've been observing that size is going to bother the Raptors a lot, and surely enough, that's what the Celtics were plan of attack was. I mean, they had the two traditional bigs. That's exactly what they were going to do. They were just going to try to hammer us in the paint. It did not work. Oh, it did not work. Oh yeah. I mean, yes, in the first quarter, it did work a bit, and maybe throughout the game, it was. I wouldn't say it was effective, but it wasn't as effective as as effective as the Celtics coach had imagined it would be. This game, I gotta say, man, the Raptors showed a lot of heart. They started off struggling, but they didn't hang their heads. Like I said in that last episode, the one positive that we could have taken from that first season loss was that even though the ball wasn't going in the net, they did not hang their heads. They had their energy on the defensive end. They put the pressure on the ball. And surely enough, there were some close calls last game around. But this time, they took care of business. And eventually, they snapped out of their cold shooting spell. So before I even go into the stats and, analyzing the players and the certain plays that stood out to me in the game, I mean, we already know the Raptors won, right? And let's look at the score here, because I know we scored like 100 something, but let's see. I think it was, there we go. So Toronto Raptors scored 115 points, and the Boston Celtics 83. Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to just really look at this. Just try to understand. Now I know this is like just a very short sample size, just 2 season games. That's it. But the emphasis is on defense. You can tell. Okay? I mean, last game too. Let's look at the last game. They held the Washington Wizards. They scored 98. They held them under 100 points. And this game, 83? Wow. 83. That's defense. That's defensive pressure. And I think at least defensively, what Ujiri and the Raptors staff were imagining when they were constructing this roster is you're finally getting to see that, at least defensively. Offensively, I feel like as the season progresses along, once they start getting comfortable with each other, once they start getting comfortable in their roles, and once they start getting used to the playbook a little bit, figure out each other's tendencies, it will come along. But the bright spot is the defense. And we all know the old saying, defense wins championships, right? So that, considering that this is like half the squad is new, or at least more than half the squad is new, the fact that they can work together defensively, that is beautiful, my friends. That is such an encouraging sight to see. And this game, honestly, the way we won this game, it's a dominant win. It's 115 points to 83 points. It's like 18 points. We won by 18 points. We held a good Boston Celtics team. A good Boston Celtics team. Sure, they don't have a decent point guard. Yeah, I'll agree with that. That kind of like messes things up. But you got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum, you got Al Horford, you know, and I mean, come on, you got three of the best players right there, and you still lost. Oh, arguably, I would even say Jay Rich, you know, coming off the bench. You know, Jason Richardson, he was good, man. Was it Jason? Did I say Jason? I meant Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson, he was good, man. Like, you know, I liked him from the Philadelphia days. Like, he was good. Like, I watched him play in Philly. And when Boston picked him up in the offseason, I was like, yeah, good pick. This was a revenge game, and we took our revenge. Now, I want y'all to understand this. You know, this revenge was not just for the preseason. And this revenge was not just for the game that we lost, the first game of our season, the home opener. No, 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 no. It doesn't just limit to just these two games. It goes back to the bubble. We should have won that series. We should have. I mean, at the end of the day, if you were to ask me, I hate to say it, like, you know, I have my fan goggles on. Even before the series started, I thought, you know what, the Raptors have a good chance, but I thought the Celtics did have the edge, not just because of the star power, but just, you know, the fact that we didn't have Kawhi anymore, right? And the fact that Pascal was struggling with a shot. So, yeah, I mean, you know, just because of that, I was giving Celtics the edge, but the way they came out and in the bubble and the way they played, they came back from almost losing in Game 6 with that big shot from OG. Yeah, only to lose in Game 7. Now, this was a revenge of all those games, and I feel like now we have developed this rivalry with the Celtics as well. That's big, guys. That's big. You know, I mean, we all know the classic rivalries between LA Lakers and Boston Celtics. Well, if we keep this kind of competition up, we keep this kind of, you know, pressure up on the Boston Celtics, and we keep winning games like this, and even more games, this could very well be like a classic rivalry too. Coming back to the whole defensive concept, you know your defense is good when you're putting so much pressure on an elite player like Jason Tatum. You're frustrating him. You frustrate him. You can tell in his body language. He was frustrated. You know, I don't think he had a very good shooting night. Let's have a look at his stats. Looking at Jason Tatum's stats, he's played 30 minutes, 18 points. This guy usually scores more than 20 points, okay? And when I say usually, it's like, for the most part, he will score 20 points. 4 assists, 6 boards on 8 of 14 shooting. Held him under 50%. How many turnovers? 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers. That's how much pressure, that's how much focus we had on Jason Tatum. Now, mind you, those 8 shots that he took, out of those 8, I could argue that at least 4 of them, at least 4 of those shots were heavily contested, and he still made them. But that's just because, man, I have to admit, regardless of how much Jason Tatum struggled in this game, he has a sweet stroke, man. Like, some of those contested shots that he was making, I was like, man, that's very Kobe-esque, you know? And I'm not surprised because, you know, he's trained with Kobe too. So, man, he's going to be something. Yeah, well, he's definitely going to be something. So, guys, my pick for player of the game, that's right, my boy, Scotty Barnes. Man, did he have a monster game. Oh, yeah. He made a statement with this. You have to understand something about this game and why he is the undisputed player of the game. Yes, I know Precious had a good game too, and I'm going to get to his stats later on. But I want to talk about Scottie Barnes for a second here. Scottie Barnes, he had an elite game. Not just on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end. He looked very comfortable with his jump shot. You know, there were big question marks on his jump shot and his mid-range game, definitely on his three-point game, but even in his mid-range game. But this kid shot well, man. Yeah, he played very well. And to think you're having such a good offensive game while having defensive assignments like guarding Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, even the Williams guy at some points. You know, like I think he pretty much defended the whole team at one point. Like he's that awesome. Like, but what really impresses me about this kid is, yes, he's young, so he's got that motor, but that motor is for his level of experience and for his rookie, for him being a rookie. That motor is so mature. It's not like one of those like, oh, I have so much energy, like my motor is so high that, you know, I am on two different spectrums. You know, I'm either really good or just really bad. No, he's kind of like, he's hovering like this right now, you know, like right in the middle. Like he'll go a little high, but he won't go too high. He'll go a little low, but he won't go too low. And he's staying constant, and that's a very good sign, guys. It's a very good sign in a rookie. I honestly see his potential, like the way he makes those passes, the way he makes the reads, his patience, his IQ. I know I keep talking about this kid and the same attributes, but it still surprises me that a rookie of his, no words to describe. Anyway, he's the player of the game. So we're going to look at his stats here, okay? He's played 35 minutes. And guess what? He's got a game tomorrow night too. And he's going to be playing Dallas Mavericks. So guess what? His assignments are going to be like Kristaps, probably Luka at some point, even Dwight Powell, I guess. Yeah, like he's going to have his hands full again tomorrow night. But you know what? We're going to celebrate his stats tonight. Who cares about tomorrow? We'll deal with tomorrow. All right? So he's got 35 minutes. He's got 25 points. 2 assists, 13 boards. He also made mistakes. He also did turn the ball over quite a bit. But, and when I say quite a bit, let's have a look. No, I stand corrected. I thought he did turn the ball over quite a bit. In 35 minutes of action, when a rookie only turns the ball over once, just think about this, guys. Wow. So he's got a double-double, 25 points, 13 boards, while guarding Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, that Williams dude. Yeah. he really showed up. 11 for 17 field goal percentage. That is insane. Wow. Scottie Barnes, man. He had a very good game. So now I'm going to talk about the other players here. We got Precious. Yes, he responded this time around. He came around. I was impressed with his game this time. You know, like I'm always impressed with Precious, even though he struggled the last game. But this time around, the way he responded, I'm glad he did. He did his job. He basically, you know, he was supposed to crash the boards, and that's what he did. Let's have a look. 24 minutes, 15 points, 15 boards. He got his double-double, baby. 6 for 13 field goal percentage. You know what? Like when you're banging in the middle and you're competing against two big guys like Al Horford and Williams, and even Jason Tatum coming on the help defense. Yeah, you know it's going to be hard to get some buckets around the net. 2 steals, 0 turnovers. They took care of the ball. But I'm talking about Gary Trent. Yeah, he if Scottie Barnes didn't have the game he did, if Precious didn't have the game he did, it would have been Gary Trent. He would have been the player of the game. But he's definitely the X factor the difference maker in the game. Because at least when I was watching this game, there were times when the offense was stale. Gary Trent, he really turned it around, especially in the third quarter. That's when he really turned it around. Like, he got 20 points in 31 minutes of action with 1 assist, 3 boards. That's all right. Field goal percentage, 7 of 13. Not bad, right? 4 steals. Again, defense. This kid, man. That's why he got so many minutes, because the pressure that he's been putting on the ball is what's keeping him on the court. He's got 4 steals. I think in the previous game he got 4 steals as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he had a very good game too. And I am so glad. Oh my goodness. Because when I was watching the game, when I was watching the beginning of the game, and I saw the starting lineup, even before the broadcast hosts, even before they had, mentioned that little change in the lineup, I saw Dragic's face as a starting shooting guard, and I was like, why him? We don't need him, especially if he's gonna go up against Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I'm just thinking more like matchup, size wise and stuff. And I thought Gary Trent would have been better. And then they said, well, Gary Trent is gonna get the start, and I was like, yes, thank God. And I'm glad it worked out, right? I mean, let's look at Dragic's score here. Although, mind you, I will admit that when the offense was stale, at one point he did score all of his 5 points, because that's what he's got, 5 points. He scored all of those 5 points. Hate to admit it, but they were some meaningful 5 points. That kind of started getting the ball rolling. He made some other good effort plays too on the defense, saving the ball, saving the loose ball. Still, it does, yeah, you know what? He helped us out a little bit. But hey, man, just increase your trade value, buddy. We just need a good return for you. I'm still rooting for you getting off this squad. But you know what? You helped us out. So I'm gonna give you a little break tonight. But I'm going to watch you. I'm watching you tomorrow, because I know your boy Luka is coming to town. And I know you're going to want to put on a show. But we'll see. We'll see if Nurse gives you enough minutes. Maybe he might. Who knows? So Freddie had, how many minutes did he play? 36 minutes. He played the most minutes in the game. So in 36 minutes, he scored 11 points on 3 for 10 shooting. Yeah, he was, again, like I said, I feel like bigger defenders kind of bother him and his offensive game, especially when he's trying to attack the rim as well. I feel like if there's a concerted effort in attacking the rim, that means all the other bigger guys on your team are also trying to attack the rim, which means it's clogging the lane. So Freddie's not getting much of an opportunity, But it's not just that. It's also, again, the size, right? When you have Al Horford and the Williams guy, Williams 3, whatever his name is, and of course Jason Tatum, when they're crowding up the middle there, it's hard for a guy like Freddie to get some, get some layups, get some teardrop floaters, or even some short distance jumpers, right? But what I was impressed with was definitely his assists. And like I said, for me, I know I'm a little old school, but I like my point guard to not just run the offense, but to at least get a minimum 5 assists. And he got 9. He almost got a double-double too. So that was nice. Got 4 boards. Oh, look at this defensive stat line. Yeah, he was good, man. I actually saw him play defense, and you know what? You could argue, yes, he doesn't get as many blocks as a typical defensive player of the year would get, but man, for his size, he's a really good defender. He's got 1 block and 3 steals. Yeah, he played very good defensively. So see, I guess you could trust him that way because even though he struggled in the offensive end, he made the difference in running the offense as well as playing defense. And, you know, sure, he didn't have a steady shot, but he's still steady Freddy. He still knows how to impact the game in other ways. OG, oh man. I know this is just the second game of the season, but the way he started off in the preseason and the way he's performing now, something's up. I just can't put a finger on it. I don't know if it's because of the expectations. You know, maybe the expectations are too high. Maybe he's feeling the pressure of the expectations. That's kind of what even Pascal went through. When Kawhi Leonard left, he was expected to be the number one option. And especially after when we came back from the pandemic and had the bubble games, he didn't perform very well. And of course, you know, like not going to the gym for a while, it does affect your game. But yeah, I feel like OG, he may be, you know, buckling down under pressure. And also, you know, of course, the scouting reports, right? You know, the coaches, they're emphasizing to lock down OG, make it harder on him to score. And so, like this time around, he did struggle again. You know, he scored 14 points in 33 minutes of action with 3 assists and 5 boards on 4 of 18 shooting, field goal percentage. Yeah, it was a tough game for OG. It really was. Even on the defensive end, yes, it doesn't show up on the stats, but he was trying. I could tell. It was a frustrating game for OG. But hey, that's what the Celtics wanted to do. They figure, you know, lock down OG, everybody else will fall in place because he's our number one option. I would like to mention, guys, is their free throw percentage. I was very surprised with the free throw percentage. I mean, they didn't miss any. They didn't miss any. But how many did they take? Wow, 21 for 21. That's a pretty good free throw percentage stat right there. 100% on 21 free throw attempts from all different players. That's amazing. That is amazing. Like, our field goal percentage compared to Boston was actually pretty good. We had 42%, they had 39. I mean, yeah, not that huge of a difference, but considering how we are undersized compared to Boston, we did pretty well. We pretty well shooting in the paint. Rebounds. Now this one was very encouraging. They have we got 60 rebounds to 42 for the Boston Celtics. So we out-rebounded them. Again, just because they're big doesn't mean we can't get those rebounds, you know. Turnovers. This is another. This is why we won with such a huge margin, right? Apart from the rebounds, you control the boards, you control the game, you give more chances for your teammates to score, to set up. That's great. The turnovers, defense. This is what I was talking about again. The on-the-ball pressure. Toronto had 11 turnovers for the whole game. Not bad. That's pretty good. Versus Boston's 25 turnovers. 25 turnovers for Boston Celtics. Man, that's pressure. Hey, yeah, man. When we put pressure on the defense, oh boy, you better watch out. I know it's only Boston Celtics, but they're a good squad too. Can't take them lightly. Points in the paint. Wow, talk about playing big, guys. You know, they thought by putting big bodies in the paint that they were gonna clog the paint. Nah, man. We showed heart this game. We showed heart, and it translates in the stats too. Look at this: 58 points in the paint versus 32 points for the Boston Celtics. What's up now? Yeah, that's right. That's right. We undersized, but man, we got heart, man. Our heart's so big, it compensates for the size. The half court, set up the half court offense, and then execute something from there. It's all good. This was a good game. This was an overall good game. I'm impressed. I'm happy, you know, and I can't wait till tomorrow's game as we take on Dallas Mavericks at home. We back, baby. and I believe it's at 7:30, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get it. So that's all the talking I'm gonna do for tonight, guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow as I'm gonna drop another post-game thoughts on the Dallas game. Hopefully another W. Let's get that W, baby. And again, guys, if you like my video, give me a thumbs up or even, comment. Let me know your thoughts on the game and let me know who's going to win tomorrow's game, whether it's going to be Dallas or Toronto. So that's all the time, folks. Tune in for tomorrow's game, tomorrow's post-game thoughts. This is Raptors in 1. Arrivederci. I'm out.